Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learn back once again in this YouTube astrological segment. I'm going to be talking about Mars in conjunct Jupiter in a natal chart. Now, some of you may remember when I first started my YouTube astrology channel, I did a series on the aspects in a natal chart. They were a little bit concise. Some people may refer to them as snappy, so what I decided to do was make another series on them in which the videos would be a little bit longer and more descriptive. So anyway, first thing up is if you have Mars in conjunct Jupiter in a natal chart, an adjustment, which is the inconjunct, may be needed between doing things that you have an enthusiasm for, which is Mars, and expanding horizons, which is Jupiter. One or the other may be overemphasized. You may be dominated by doing things that you have an enthusiasm for to the expense of expanding horizons, or it could be vice versa, the other way around. You may be so intent on expanding horizons to the point where you neglect the things you have that natural enthusiasm for. So the key, and of course, is to find the balance and equilibrium between the two. So let's say if Jupiter is in Aquarius as an example, those things as far as what you may do in terms of expanding horizons, you may do this, it could be through humanitarian, altruistic endeavors. It may be something connected with astronomy, astrology, computers, electronics, meteorology, aviation, innovation, as some examples. Now, another thing, too, is that there may be an imbalance, which is the inconjunct, between activities that are associated with sexual partners, which is Mars, and also the in-laws and the foreigners, which is Jupiter. Your time may be dominated, monopolized by one or the other. You may spend so much time, with the sexual partner that it could be where it dominates your time to the point where you may neglect, in-laws and even foreigners that might have a friendship with or what have you, or it could be the other way around. In-laws and foreigners may monopolize your time to the expense of your could be your sexual life to some degree. So the key again is to find the balance and equilibrium with the energy. Now let's say if Mars is in Aries as an example, one or more sexual partners may actually be in Aries, Sun, Moon, or Ascendant, or simply embody the characteristics of the sign. It could be, those, that are very aggressive, assertive, ardent, forceful, courageous, combative, but yet can also be very outspoken, impulsive, impetuous, and very, it could be quick-tempered as well. So another thing too is that another way Mars in conjunct Jupiter may manifest in a natal chart is that there may either be too much or too little drive and motivation, which is Mars, for Jupiter-related matters. And the thing is, let's say, and it could be where at times you may have an exorbitant amount of drive and motivation for Jupiterian things, or it could be the other way around, where that drive, the motivation, the incentive is just non-existent. Now, let's say if Jupiter is in Taurus, as an example, the Jupiter-related matters, which can include publishing, advertising, sports, and religion, may be done, in a more plotting, deliberate, or methodical manner. Jupiter and Aries could be done, those matters may be done with little procrastination or hesitation, in a very aggressive, kind of manner, and as some examples. And it could also be at times, if you have Mars in conjunct Jupiter in a natal chart, another way it may be expressed is that, there may be times when it appears that you just have this exorbitant luck. And luck, of course, is Jupiter. In physical related, which is Mars issues, and at times none at all. It could be where maybe you feel it seems like you go for prolonged or protracted period without physical related injuries or problems. And other times you may feel that you're bombarded with a number of physical related issues, or even the recuperation process connected with injuries. As another example, it could be where at times you may feel that you bounce back from injuries very quickly, and other times you just might take much longer time to actually come back from those issues. As some examples. Now, let's say if Mars is in the zodiac sign Cancer, as an example, it could be that physical related issues may be connected with the chest, the breast, the stomach, or the ribs, as some examples. Now, another thing too is that with this aspect, there may be too much or too little exuberance, which is Jupiter, in taking action in matters in general, which is Mars. Now, there can be times when you have a tremendous amount of exuberance and enthusiasm in terms of taking action, and other times you just may be very apathetic regarding these things. Now, let's say if Mars is in Scorpio, as an example, actions that you need to take may often be connected with taxes or insurance. It could be matters of the will or estate. It could be issues tied in with support, whether it be moral, emotional, or monetary support, or dealing with a crisis, making some major change or transformation, as some examples. Now, also too, in-laws and foreigners, which is Jupiter, may either be exceptionally prominent in terms as far as those action goes, and what you have the enthusiasm for, which is Mars, and other times they just may be flat out non-existent in those matters. Now, it could be, let's say for example, if Jupiter is in Gemini, one or more of those in-laws may actually be a Gemini sun, moon, or ascendant, or simply embody the characteristics of the sign. It could be those that are mercurial, loquacious, adaptable, versatile, dexterous, those that are multifaceted, maybe very fickle, changeable, as well contradictory, as some examples. Now, another thing too is that another way Mars in conjunct Jupiter may manifest in the natal chart could be at times you may have this tremendous courage, which is Mars, and standing up, to Jupiter, people that are, and then other times it might be none whatsoever. When I say Jupiter and people could be those that are in Jupiter-related fields, whether it be publishing, advertising, sports, the outdoors, camping, people that are in religion, philosophy, college teaching, as some examples, or it could be even in-laws and foreigners. And the thing is, it could be these, Jupiter, say, is in Leo. Those people may, one or more may actually be a Leo sun, moon, or ascendant, or embody the traits of the sign. It could be those that are very, confident, self-assured, flamboyant, extroverted, gregarious, but can also be very arrogant, egotistical, and bombastic as well. Now, another thing too is that another way this aspect may manifest in the natal chart is that there may be too much or too little optimism, which is Jupiter, in matters connected with battles, whether they be verbal or physical ones. And battles is Mars. Now, the thing too is if Mars is in Sagittarius, as an example, there may be battles that are connected with religion, philosophy, higher education, publishing issues, as some examples. And there also may be too much or too little physical strength, which is Mars, in activities that are, say, connected with the outdoors or even sports, which is Jupiter. Now, thing about this is if you have, say, Jupiter, is in, Gemini, as an example. It could be, quick reaction sports that the person may be enamored with. It could be, such as badminton or table tennis, racquetball, some examples. If Jupiter is in Aries, it may be one of the more volatile sports, such as hockey or playing football, as some examples. Jupiter in Taurus may be weightlifting because it's more of, a slow, steady kind of sport, which one can kind of pace themselves, requires certain endurance. Anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, Edwin Norman saying, stay well.